The morning of the biggest interview of my life, I opened my closet and found my only blazer lying on the floor, soaked in bleach and sliced across the sleeve. My mother looked me straight in the eye and said, "Maybe now you'll finally stop pretending you're better than this family." She thought she'd ruined my future. She had no idea she'd just handed me the evidence I needed to take back everything they had stolen from me. My name is Emily. I'm 29 years old, and for most of my life, I believed that if I worked hard enough, my parents would finally be proud of me. Instead, every success I earned became another reason for them to hate me. I grew up in a house where my younger brother, Brandon, was treated like a king. If he failed a class, my parents blamed the teacher. If I earned straight A's, they told me not to show off. Whenever relatives visited, Mom would proudly talk about Brandon's potential. She rarely mentioned me. I learned to celebrate my achievements alone. After college, I worked 2 jobs while studying at night. Every dollar mattered. I dreamed of becoming a financial analyst at one of the largest investment firms in the city. When I finally received an interview invitation, I cried. Not because I thought I had already made it. Because someone had finally noticed my hard work. The dress code was business formal. I owned exactly one professional blazer. I had saved for 6 months to buy it. The night before the interview, I ironed it carefully and hung it inside my closet. I even smiled before going to bed. For the first time in years, I believed my life was finally about to change. The next morning, everything collapsed. The blazer was destroyed. White bleach stains covered the front. One sleeve had been cut almost completely off. I couldn't even speak. Mom walked past my bedroom door holding a cup of coffee. "Oh. You found it." I looked at her. "What happened?" She shrugged. "Maybe you shouldn't leave expensive things lying around." "I kept it in my closet." She smiled. "Accidents happen." Then Brandon laughed from the hallway. "You weren't getting that job anyway." My heart shattered. I knew immediately it wasn't an accident. Dad walked into the room. Instead of asking what happened, he sighed. "Stop creating drama." "I'm not creating anything. It's just a jacket." "No. It's my interview." Dad shrugged. "You'll survive." I locked myself inside the bathroom and cried. Years of sacrifice. Ruined in one cruel moment. Then my phone rang. It was my best friend, Olivia. The second she heard my voice, she asked, "What happened?" 20 minutes later, she was standing outside with one of her own blazers. It wasn't a perfect fit. The sleeves were slightly short. But it was clean. "You'll look amazing." I hugged her harder than I ever had before. The interview went surprisingly well. The hiring manager smiled throughout our conversation. As I stood to leave, she noticed the sleeves. "They're a little short." I laughed nervously. "It's a long story." She smiled. "I like people who keep showing up even when life makes it difficult." I left feeling hopeful. When I returned home, my parents were eating dinner. Nobody asked how the interview went. Instead, Mom casually asked, "So, when are you giving Brandon your old laptop?" "What?" "He needs it." "I still use it." "You'll buy another one after your new fancy job." I finally snapped. "I'm done giving him everything." The room went silent. Dad slammed his fork down. "Watch your attitude." I walked upstairs. That night I couldn't sleep. Not because of the interview. Because I realized something. Destroying my blazer wasn't about jealousy. It was about control. Every time I tried moving forward, they pulled me back. A week later I received incredible news. I got the job. The salary nearly doubled my income. For the first time in my life, I felt free. I quietly began searching for apartments. I didn't tell my parents. Then the first twist happened. While gathering tax documents from an old filing cabinet, I accidentally found a folder with my name on it. Inside were bank statements, scholarship letters, financial aid records, and something that made my hands shake. A college savings account. My college savings account. The balance years earlier had been almost $90,000. I stared at the withdrawal records. Every dollar had disappeared before I started college. The signatures belonged to my parents. I remembered working night shifts, taking student loans, skipping meals, all while believing we couldn't afford tuition. My knees almost gave out. They hadn't been broke. They had taken my college fund. That evening I confronted them. "What is this?" Mom barely glanced at the papers. "We needed the money." "For what?" She answered without shame. "Brandon." I looked at Dad. "You stole my education." Dad sighed. "It wasn't stealing. We're family." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Brandon walked in. "What happened?" Mom answered calmly. "Emily found out." Found out. As if it were some harmless surprise. Then Brandon laughed. "I always wondered why you worked so much." I felt physically sick. That night I copied every document. Every withdrawal. Every signature. Every statement. Then came the second twist. When my new employer completed my background paperwork, they asked me to provide old tax records. While comparing documents, the company's legal department noticed something strange. Several education tax credits had been claimed using my name. I never received those credits. Someone else had. My parents. The company suggested I speak with an attorney. Within days, investigators discovered multiple years of false tax filings connected to the withdrawn education fund. The amount wasn't just unethical. It was potentially illegal. For weeks my parents insisted everything would disappear. "It'll never go anywhere." They were wrong. The investigation expanded. Records from nearly 10 years earlier resurfaced. Emails. Bank transfers. Tax documents. Everything pointed to the same conclusion. My college fund hadn't disappeared because of financial hardship. It had financed Brandon's failed business. Luxury vacations. A new SUV. Things I'd spent years believing they somehow managed to afford. Then came the confrontation. Dad demanded I withdraw my complaint. "You'll destroy this family." I looked him directly in the eyes. "No. You destroyed it the day you chose one child over another." Mom started crying. Not because she regretted what she had done. Because she realized she couldn't manipulate me anymore. Months later, mediation was offered before the case reached court. Their attorney proposed repayment. Every dollar. Plus interest. I accepted one condition. Everything had to be documented. Every admission. Every repayment. No more lies. No more pretending. They signed. Brandon didn't say a word. Without the money my parents constantly gave him, he was finally forced to support himself for the first time in his life. As for me, I used part of the settlement to pay off every remaining student loan. Then I bought something I'd dreamed about for years. A beautiful navy blue blazer. Not because I needed another one, but because it reminded me how far I had come. Sometimes I still look at the old ruined blazer. I never threw it away. The bleach stains. The torn sleeve. Every mark reminds me of the morning my parents thought they had destroyed my future. They believed ruining one jacket would keep me trapped forever. Instead, that ruined blazer forced me to uncover the truth hidden inside an old filing cabinet. It didn't just lead me to my dream career. It helped me recover everything they had stolen from me. In the end, they didn't lose because I became successful. They lost because the daughter they spent years trying to break finally stopped believing the lies they told about her. And that was something they could never take back.